Bugün diğer YouTube gösterme videosuna hoş geldiniz. Ben bu sefer size önce yapayım.
Sure, it was a rip-off, paying for loads of meals to get that tiny piece of plastic. But they were super fun, right? Or so we remember. Turns out sometimes, though, Ronald McDonald wasn't feeling his old happy self and made these really damn creepy. Some of these toys are dangerous and some are just plain scary and will give you nightmares. I'm Charlie and today we're going to look at the scariest McDonald's Happy Meal toys. But before we jump into it, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too? Do it or Ronald will get you. Coming up first, we have dinosaurs. Every kid loved playing with those dinosaurs, especially little boys. So that's why in the early 2000s, McDonald's decided to put some in their Happy Meals. They made a bunch of these plastic dinosaur toys, and they thought kids would like them. Only problem was, they were cheaply made in China, so the quality wasn't great. As you can see, what they thought would be an awesome toy turned out to be plain disturbing. Some of them look more like crocodiles or alligators than dinosaurs. And the baby dinosaur even resembles an alien creature. Or maybe some kind of mutation of an actual baby. People reminisced about these dinosaur toys in an online forum. And pretty much everyone said they got nightmares and had to throw their toys away. What wussy kids wouldn't want to play with this ET looking toy? Next up is Ronald McDonald Mask. Everyone knows that the clown Ronald McDonald was the McDonald's mascot. The only problem was, McDonald's didn't realise most people don't like clowns. In fact, it's one of the most common phobias of all time. So that's why in 2003, McDonald's stopped using Ronald McDonald. One of the reasons why they stopped using him was because of one disastrous toy. This toy released in the 90s was a Ronald McDonald mask. The mask was supposed to be all friendly and fun, but it looks more like the clown from It. I guess thanks to movies like It and The Joker, clowns just aren't funny anymore. Kids were really freaked out by this mask. And also it was usually all greasy because of the oily foods it was next to. I'd say this is probably one of the most sad Happy Meal toys of all time. You could actually pay me not to wear a greasy clown mask. Next up is Food Fun Dementals. If you're a true 90s kid, you remember these toys. Back in the 90s, McDonald's released a bunch of toys known as Food Fundamentals. They were getting a lot of bad press because their food was unhealthy. So instead of adding fruits to the menu, they simply added fruit toys. The toys were really creepy faces on healthy foods. This included some low-fat milk, a steak, a tomato, and a sandwich. The tomato named Ruby and the sandwich named Otis looked the most creepy. And the face on the low-fat milk is straight out of nightmares. Needless to say, these toys were not popular and were soon discontinued. But if you do have some of these, you could sell them for big money. Recently, some were sold on eBay for nearly $100. Next up is swearing minions. We all know and probably dislike minions. They've gone from being a small part of the Despicable Me movies into something way, way bigger. Well, in 2015, Pixar's Minions teamed up with McDonald's. With Happy Meals, they released some talking minion toys. That may sound like a pretty good toy compared to other Happy Meal toys. But parents were very, very displeased because the minions appeared to say F you. Now, this was not intentional. Instead, the minions are supposedly speaking a made-up language, Minionese. This is basically a bunch of gibberish, but some of that gibberish did not sound good. In fact, it sounded like some of these minions were cursing. These minions were quickly taken off the market. But that's not before a lot of parents complained about their kids' sweary Happy Meal toys. Next up is Tickle Feather. After you hear this one, you're not going to believe McDonald's actually released it. We all know what a suggestive tickle feather is for. Basically, it's something
Yep. Beep.
Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face while you're sleeping.
There's nothing scary about a toy, right? Wrong. These seemingly harmless toys can be some of the most terrifying things on Earth. There's no doubt about it, these toys can be straight up frightening. Children love their toys, but after a few weeks, even the most coveted piece gets tossed in the trash. That baby doll that every 5-year-old pines over is left in a dark corner after the novelty wears off. We can only hope that all the harshly discarded toys never decide to revolt, or we would have a huge problem on our hands. And on that note, let us get into 10 scary toys caught on camera and in real life. Number 10. Moving doll. Dolls are meant to be cute little toys to have parties with and play dress-up with. But instead, there seem to be a great amount of weird stories about dolls going around. Horror films probably do get their plots from something based in reality, and if you are already scared of dolls, I do not suggest you watch the film Annabelle or its sequel. You may never want another doll to enter your home again after you hear this story. This unfortunate little girl had been complaining about creepy things her toys were doing, so her worried father decided to place a camera in her room to see if there was even a shred of truth to his daughter's tall tales. The eerie footage shows the doll ever so slightly tilting its head, as if to get the little girl's attention. Maybe dolls get jealous? This one sure didn't like being left out at the tea party even a little.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works.
Number 9. Toy Soldier.
Oy
This
sevmedim.
particular incident.
Sıradaki. Bu. Korkusunuz hayat. Gel buraya. Gel buraya. Gel buraya. Ne? Gel lan.
Sayesinde Full Industries yarışmanın ilk sırasında kalıyor.
Tamam, görev tamamlandı.
Ve
Glasses? Okay, can you see this? Sorry for starting the video like that.
Uzun bir gündü ve artık uykuya gitmenin zamanı geldi.
What am I doing here? This is the word apartment.
Get to Del Taco. They got a new thing called Free Shavakadoo.
It's
It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my
duş
life.
almaya cesaret edebildiğini bilmiyorum. Gerçekten çok pis. Üstelik kokuyor.
Make sure you're subscribed and have
Şu
notifications
zemin
enabled and enjoy the video.
lanet olsun. Gerçekten bıktım.
bir şey indirmedim ki.
Uyuyacağım. Böylesi çok daha iyi. Kesinlikle daha iyi. Ne olduğunu söylemek için büyüyü aradım ama. Bana yardıma geldiniz. Beni bir köpek gibi
Birkaç saatliğine duracaktım. Maalesef birkaç saatliğine duracaksanız benim tabletim yok etmeden.
İşte düşündüğüm bu. Ne olursa olsun bütün bir gece arızalı bir kamyonla burada kısıtlı kalan
Başka bir şey olmadı.
onun için gerçekten bir şey.
Dındırın. Vay başkanım. Şimdi devam edebiliriz deminkine. Deminkine devam edebiliriz. Gitmiş ama. Bana ne? Ver bana. Jadi bir.
Elmo wants you to be drafted for the war of the Soviet Union against the Americans.
I'm going to steal this angel bag and discovered and fired from his job. If you really think McDonald's is a
Kireç
good fast
taşından
food
oluşan
chain,
kayalar
kiss my
yağmur
pussy,
suları.
be polite.
Bu yüzden de kalıcı akarsular oluşur. Neyse ki başka bir su kaynağı daha var. Ama ona ulaşmakta kurnazlık ve beceri gerekir.
Welcome back to Me Screaming.
Burası
Look,
sığır
you can vote for
otlatmak için
Obama,
kullanılan
Bernie
bir alan.
Sanders, or even that Hillary guy. But I know who I'm voting for, and his name is God. Hello?
Çiftçiler
Is this
su
the
ihtiyaçlarını
exterminator? We
yer
have a
altındaki
serious bug
kaynaklardan
problem.
karşılıyor.
Wait, are you the exterminator? Yes. Oh. Po more like poo poo.
Baskı
Why are
insan
you so
yapımı gibi
mean?
duruyor. Yapboz parçaları görüyoruz.
Where's
Şunlara
Nana?
bakın.
Time to slide into your DMs. I'm a
Suyu
beautiful
çekilen göl tabanı çok çatlı tahta ve metal parçasıyla. Hepsi de gemiye ait.
Why did I say that? Just kidding. Oh my god. Double tap if you
Güvertedeki günlük yaşamdan çarpıcı görüntüler sunuyor.
Have you tried eating McDonald's burgers with the wrapper still on it? Talk about disrespect to the cooks at this restaurant.
Ve Lady Algen'in salonunun eşsiz avizelerinden biri.
You know this is a virus when you're seeing advertisements to other restaurants.
What are you gonna do to that? Break it?
Yes. Special thanks to Ivan G for being the developer of Jollibee's. These
Bye
little
bye.
shitty gameplay footage.
Bu son.
Be real.
Brian,
Yeah.
do you want to go to the dance with me?
No.
He didn't fight fair. I have all
Neyin sebep olduğuna dair
Want some Honey Nut Cheerios?
No.
If I see a girl with blue eyes, I might say, your eyes are good. You think you're unattractive, you look into the mirror, and now you know you're unattractive. When you have school tomorrow.